When we started to engage on our budget, we went through a big process of how do we get people really involved, not on the boring things about budget and business plan, but on those core questions. What do you want your city to be? What do you want us to do more of? What do you want us to do less of? How are we going to pay for it? And talking to people at that level, the first time around in our business cycle, we got 18,000 people. The second time around, we got 24,000 people coming and talking to us about budgets and business plans, but really talking to us deeply about this question of what kind of a community they want to live in. My favorite example of that is the bus. So there's a bus. It's actually a bus. And if you happen to be waiting at your bus stop, you may see a bus with a bunch of Post-it notes on the inside and outside come up to your bus stop. It's the Engage bus. And if you get on the bus that day, it means you get a free ride. You don't have to pay a fare. In return, you have to talk to the City of Calgary employees on that bus about whatever issue they want to engage you on. It started with transit, that's why it's a bus, but I wouldn't let them take the bus out of circulation, so we use it all the time now. And continue to have people talk about this stuff. It works well. There it is. I'm wearing my number 3 today. I want to tell you the story about the number 3, and then I will wrap it up. So, the number 3 stands for a simple social movement called 3 Things for Calgary. And all it is a movement that says every citizen should do 3 things for their community every year. When I was first elected, it was the election itself was very exciting. You know, it's like the ice had broken on the river and people were really talking about the future of their community and their hopes and dreams and fears and challenges for their city. And so after I was elected, one of the first things I did was I called in a group of super volunteers. And I said, guys, we have to figure out a way to make sure that people are as engaged between elections as they were during this election. We got to figure out a way to get people more involved in their community. You guys know what you're doing. I'll give you 30 days. 45 days later, they came back to me and they said, Mayor, good news. And I said, okay. And they said, we've come up with a name for our committee. They could not have done worse. The Mayor's Committee on Civic Engagements. I've told that story so many times about this terrible name. This is true. They came up to me a year ago and said, Mayor, quit making fun of our name. We've changed our name. And I said, okay, what is it now? Mayor's Civic Engagement Committee. It took them a year to figure that out. Anyway, some days later, they came to me with this 3 things idea. And I said, congratulations, guys. You have come up with something that is simultaneously too difficult and too simple. It's too difficult because you want people to do 3 things. You want to lower the barrier. Just get them to do one thing, one small thing. And it's too simple because you're not telling people what to do. You know, remember the number one reason people don't volunteer is nobody asked me. So we actually need to match people with ideas. You got to get nonprofits. You got to have volunteer fairs. You got to build an online exchange for all of this stuff to happen. And in fact, they convinced me that I was wrong. And I realized that the real strength and power of the program is those 2 things. It's not really about doing 3 things. It's about creating a lifetime habit of service and getting people into the pattern of doing service all the time. And the fact that we don't tell people what to do is actually the real power of the program. Because people ask themselves 2 questions. What am I good at? What am I passionate about? And if they can find an answer to both of those questions, they just go off and do it. Whether it's starting a new nonprofit or shoveling your neighbor's walk, it's unbelievable. Tens of thousands of people have pledged to do their 3 things. And by the way, it's completely open source. You can steal it at your leisure. 3 things for London, Ontario, 3 things for Wood Buffalo in Northern Alberta, where the oil sands are, have already launched. And I hope that all of you will think about doing it out here as well.